channel, and this is an official meeting of the network that is co-funded by the European Commission, the cooperation projects, larger scale of the Creative Europe program. And the name of the project is the European Digital Art and Science Network. And as part of this network, we have different typology of partners. Who we have here today with me are the cultural partners of the network. And we also have other scientific institutions, such as ISO in Chile and CERN in Switzerland. And well, I'm going to ask my colleagues to do a brief presentation of what their role is in this network and what their contribution and the next steps they'll be taken at the different places, at the different venues. So first one who's going to start talking is Robert from GV Art.
I've got one, thank you. Okay, right, good afternoon, thanks for joining us all. I'm going to just give you a little bit of background about what GV Art does. My name is Robert Devcic. I'm the founder and director of GV Art. We started in 2005, and over time we've increasingly become very focused on art and science collaborations. As Lucia, my collaborator, said, we are one of the EU Digital Art and Science Network members, or partners, sorry. So I just wanted to, just a bit of background. GV Art sort of started, as I said, 2005, and we focused originally on strategic art fairs. We started doing a lot of pop-up shows around the world. Here, one of the shows that we did in New York, and with work by Bayard, we did at the entrance to the particular art fair. In 2008, it was a turning point and a catalyst for GV Art. In March of that year, I was refused entry into the United States as a direct result of exhibiting two artworks by the conceptual American artist Andrew Krasnow, with works made of tanned human skin. These works, entitled 48 Star Flag and Hamburger, as I said, were part of an art fair, but on this occasion, Red Dot in New York. This and subsequent events encouraged me to open a permanent gallery space on Chiltern Street in London's fashionable Marylebone in order to give such vital works a venue and a platform to connect with a broader critical audience. This was only made possible by me applying for a Human Tissue Authority license, and GV Art was the first, and I think still the only, independent gallery to have such a license for public display and storage. So 49 Chiltern Street, we opened with Of the Flesh to coincide with the Frieze Art Fair 2008. And this, I believe, was a groundbreaking exhibition with 39 sculptural objects, often confronting, made by Andrew Krasnow. So there's some examples I'm going to show you here now, and you can see more on our GV Art website. This exhibition I co-curated with Dr. Jonathan Hutt, who I've done a lot of exhibitions with since. He's based in Shanghai, and I value very much his curatorial and academic input. The ongoing relevance of this display, this exhibition, is also illustrated today by the fact that just last week, the New Scientist reported on one of the objects from the show, the walrus that you can see here. I mean, this proves that the ethical discourse that GV Art hope to encourage is of relevance today and points to the ethical issues that need to continually be reevaluated. And I think in the whole art and science kind of field, people often forget that the whole kind of discourse around ethics has to be an ongoing conversation. So having acquired the human tissue license, GV Art became a magnet for many bioartists who were able to take advantage of this unique space. I also was exposed to artworks that I personally felt were ethically dubious and brought into contact an entire new universe where artists were pushing the boundaries of the accepted norms within scientific and artistic practice. From a young age, I was interested in both the arts and sciences. Therefore, I'm naturally excited when I engage with the powerful combination of these two seemingly contradictory energies. When I established our first permanent home, I felt there was a lack of adequate venues for such work in London. I consequently decided to focus my energies on bringing together artists and scientists in a way that would create meaningful dialogues, that is to say, creative journeys without predetermined outcomes or public engagement agendas. While there's nothing wrong with public engagement or documenting illustration of science, I chose to focus on contemporary art that was influenced and informed by collaborative cross-disciplinary engagements which explore the human condition and the changing world around us. The next 6 years, we arranged more than 40 exhibitions and over 100 related events. Personally, I believe there were many highlights and groundbreaking exhibitions over this period, and I just want to show you a few very quickly. We did an exhibition in March 2010 called Experiments, and the idea of the exhibition was that we were showcasing art and science collaborations. We invited the artists and scientists to exhibit the outcomes of their collaborative dialogue side by side on the gallery wall, asking the viewer to intuit and interpret what constituted art and that which represented scientific documentation. For the exhibition Brainstorm, which I curated in December 2010, I presented artists with the opportunity to witness a brain cut up and then create new work in response to this powerful and privileged experience. This is one of our best received shows, both critically and commercially. One of the many outcomes of this show was a close collaboration with the Wellcome Collection's Brains, the Mind as Matter exhibition, where all the artists featured in the original Brainstorm show were invited to exhibit alongside an unparalleled collection of scientific objects and artifacts collected over centuries. For the Graphite exhibition in 2012, we showed the wonder material graphene for the first time in a cultural context outside the laboratory, thanks to our partnership with Manchester University, one of many academic and scientific institutions which we have long-standing and fruitful relationships. For Transients in June 2013, I worked with the respected artist Susan Aldworth and others to gain consent for a human brain tissue to be used to create an etching plate, a historical first portrait of the human mind. Furthermore, GVR does not solely curate exhibitions, it works as an agent for many artists and artists' estates to help them sustain their practice and find suitable venues for their collections around the world. Recently, we have placed such artworks in the V&A, the Tate Modern, Tate Britain, Wellcome Trust, to name a few. What is in fact interesting is that the scientists who feel comfortable engaging with our community of artists on an emotional and intellectual level make up the majority of our core collectors. Not surprisingly, given that our artists often have an academic background in science before venturing into this artistic arena. So basically, you can find a lot more on our website. We have a Vimeo channel as well that gives you lots of documentation of our symposiums and other formats that we encourage. And we create as many opportunities as possible for artists to build up relationships meaningfully with scientists. For the EU Digital Art and Science Network, we are going to do a symposium probably in the middle of next year and invite as many speakers as possible to continue this sort of discourse around what it means to be interdisciplinary in the current world and what the benefits should be for both parties involved in the whole process. So once again, it's been a great pleasure. Thank you. Oops.
Lale from the Center for Promotion of Science in Belgrade is next.
Thank you, Lucia. Sorry guys, I'm not so well equipped as Robert is, so I will keep my notes with me. So my name is W. Lale Eric. I'm representing Serbia's Center for the Promotion of Science, public body established 5 years ago by the government of the Republic of Serbia, and our main goal is promotion of science and researches in the contemporary world. However, we are very much privileged to be part of this network and our project, since sometimes we're not so sure about our position here. We are seeing ourselves sometimes as outstanding partner, but sometimes as outsiding partner, because our approaches and our activities are much different than the other partners in our network. Maybe we are similar to Science Gallery from Dublin, but they have a strong academic approach and we are just completely independent institution. We came here now to the festival Linz as a huge bunch of 4 people. My colleagues are here, Slobodan Cauba-Jovanovic, our artistic director, and my colleagues Goran Pavicic, scientific advisor, and Slavka Dukovic, exhibition organizer. We came here first of all to learn, to take the experience, the practices of Ars Electronica and of all our partners and participating artists, and then to see and to check how we can add anything from our country. Unfortunately, we started very much from the ground, because in Serbia there isn't no established art and science scene, but we really took a serious investigation and found many individuals working in the field, and now we are trying to regroup them, to reorganize them, to inspire them to become a sort of formal or informal network for our activities. Also, in this quite unfortunate and sad times, Serbia is somehow like for 15 years in transition times. Young people, artists, scientists are leaving the country in huge numbers. Even in these tragic circumstances with the immigrants from Middle East, we are also just a transitioning position for them. They are coming to us and going through to the Western Europe, so it's very, very difficult to have a stable situation in the country, which is not so stable at all. Also, we are the only partner which is not a formal member of European Union. We are candidates for this group of countries, for this society, but still we are in our path to become a member. On the other hand, regarding the special history and special circumstances that our society was going through for the last 2 decades, we have quite unique and original approaches to many activities, including those in these fields. As I mentioned earlier, many individuals were working and trying to do their artistic activities based on the scientific approaches or scientific researches or with direct connections and association with scientific institutions in Serbia. We are trying to help them now to become on a much higher level than previously. We did a lot of work to promote our project, especially first call for the residency in the European Southern Observatory, and that was probably our biggest success so far. Serbia had the biggest number of applications in the first cycle, 2023, I think. In general, we didn't have success regarding residencies, but we made our internal national selection out of those 23 applications, and we made a choice of 2 artists which works will be produced by us for the exhibition in Serbia. The first exhibition is planned for April next year, and here you will see shortly a presentation of one of our artists, Aleksandra Jovanic, graphic designer, mathematician, and a professor at the university, who is one of those 2 chosen. The second one is very surprisingly one very young artist, actually a student from Serbian southern city of Niš, and their work will be shortly in the process of production for that April show. Right now here in Linz we are choosing four visiting works and artists who will be joined with our local artists for this common exhibition. Before that, in somewhere probably in November, we will organize the first educational workshop for the young artists, for the students of academies, for the programmers, musicians, DJs, for all of those who are interested to become a part of our network. Our colleagues from Ars Electronica will be with us in Belgrade. So we are thinking to promote the second call for European Southern Observatory residencies and later for the CERN residency as a starting point of our further activities. Today, my colleagues got excellent idea to organize some scientific residency in our country for our artists, or maybe for some visiting artists. That could be just the beginning of some next turn of ideas. However, in May this year, during our biggest annual event, which is the May month of mathematics, whole May is dedicated to math as a basic science, as a science that has its share in all natural and social sciences and humanities. As well, we held a program called Art and Science and Art and Mathematics. And during that program, we, for the first time in Serbia, presented the best 9 applications from Serbia. Then we organized a local jury, and that's how those 2 works, the concept of the works, the one that you are just watching, and the another one were chosen, and that's how we started our work in the field. For the second cycle that is planned for next year, we will have much bigger options because we are obliged to invite to Serbia 8 visiting artists, and maybe if you have any proposals if you have any wishes to come to Serbia and to share your knowledge and your works and your approaches with our national artists and with our visitors, you are now, of course, invited to do so. Also, if you have any questions, please let me know. Unfortunately, I think that we here as a group, as members of this network, are the only participants from Serbia at this festival, but hopefully from coming years, I think that we'll produce much more activities in the field and that some new generation of artists will be invited to Linz, to the festival. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Lale. And we have Ian Brunswick, and he's a program manager at Science Gallery in Dublin.
Thanks.